Hey, hi, Merry Christmas, Christmas sweater review. So I've watched every Christmas episode of Modern Family for no fucking reason, but I've done it. So not every season has a Christmas episode. I'm going to tell you what they're about. The purpose of this is kind of rank them, kind of like a tier list, but like just, I'm gonna say, I'm not going to actually make a tier list, just in case you wanna watch it, because I love watching like sitcoms episodes, like Christmas episodes or Halloween episodes, and you just watch every single one they have. I love that because I love sitcoms. I'm rewatching right now The Office. Might as well do the exact same thing on Valentine's Day with The Office, so stay tuned for that because I think I'm going to do that. Season 1, there are 3 separate plot lines. Phil and Claire is that Christmas is cancelled, like Phil cancels Christmas because their little barn thing, like the couch is a little burned, and Claire thinks that one of the kids has smoked a cigarette. This plot line is like, it's funny because Phil wants to take back what he said and he's just trying to make the kids confess so they can have Christmas. Like, it's funny when one of the kids, I think it's Luke, he says he did it because the sister kind of tricked him into saying that. Claire finds out that he's lying, and Haley and Alex tricked him to confess, and so they can have Christmas. And Phil is just like arriving with the tree, dragging the tree into the house, and says like, oh, so Christmas still cancelled? Okay, sorry. In the end, it's not that they have smoked anything, but that one Christmas ornament is kind of redirecting the sunlight into the couch, and that's what it's making the burnt thing. I also like that it's said at the beginning because they're talking to Phil's parents, I believe, and Claire says here, this is the ornament that you guys sent us, that you guys gift us. So that's cool that we see the ornament at the beginning of the episode. Then is the Colombian traditions, because Gloria and Manny want to maintain some traditions of their own, and then Jay is completely opposed them. I think it's interesting, especially because it's season 1, so we're already seeing that Jay, it's such an American, like a patriotic and conservative person. The fact that he's living with Colombian people and they want to bring the traditions into their house, I think it's really interesting because obviously I think people who watch Modern Family, it's more on the progressive side, especially because of Mitch and Cam, since it's a sitcom, and by the time this was made, I believe it was like 2010 maybe. So the fact that they're showing this old guy, rich, like rich, white, middle-aged, not middle-aged, but old guy that is super patriotic and kind of conservative, but he's open to these Colombian traditions. At the end of the episode, at the beginning, he's like, I can do it, we're in America, we just following American traditions, and in the end he's like, actually you guys should have your own traditions as well, we can kind of mix them. That's kind of cool to watch, especially in the time this was made. I think Modern Family in general as a show was a really cool show in this sense, in this progressive sense, because yes, there are a lot of jokes and the characters are stereotypical, as particularly Gloria is very stereotypical, it's a bit racist sometimes, but I don't know, I think as a whole the show itself, it shows really cool things. With Mitch and Cam, I think Cam might be my favorite character of the show, and I think all his plot lines are just funny because he's part of them, to be quite honest. And this was kind of double plot line because he was mad that some carol singers, like he was part of this group. By the way, carol singers, sorry, parenthesis, the fact like carol singers are actually a thing, the carolers, I think that's the word, that people just go door to door singing Christmas carols. Excuse me, the fact, I've always watched this in like shows and movies and stuff, and I genuinely thought that it was just for movies, like this wasn't a thing. And then I heard some YouTubers, I think it was the Triplets, they were saying something like, oh, this Christmas carolers that comes and sing at the most inconvenient times, and I was like, that's actually a thing? The fuck? That's so random. I don't know, I never thought that was like an actual thing. It's cool though, like I think it's cool, but it's just so bizarre to me. Anyways, so Cam is upset because they fired him. I don't know how can you get fired from Carol Singers group, I don't know. Mitchell gets a Santa Claus, a mall Santa Claus fire because they have Lily very, very little. So this Santa Claus come into, like, they switch the shifts, I guess, they're working. So this Santa Claus come and he's like thin and he doesn't look like Santa Claus. So Mitch complains and have him fired by accident. Like, he complains because he wants a perfect Santa Claus for Lily, which is funny because it's so real. Like, I was watching this and I was like, Lily is so little, she's not going to remember anything. Why do you care if Santa Claus is not perfect? Like, she's a baby literally, so she's not going to care at all. But that's how parents are. Like, you have to have everything perfect for my child, even if the child is not going to remember a thing of this moment. He then finds out that he got him fired and they invite him for dinner, and then the Santa Claus end up punching in the face the guy that Cam was mad about. Like, the Santa Claus know they fired him, but because they invite him for dinner, he kind of forgave them and then punched the other guy in the face. And that was, I think, the best plot line in this episode. I think it was the funniest, and the fact that they, like, Cam and me had like separate plot lines in a sense, and they merge. I think that's really cool. Then season 3, no episode in season 2. Season 3, I think it might be the best just because it's the Christmas Express. So I think the concept is already original because they kind of celebrate Christmas on December 19th, if I remember correctly, which is kind of funny because they can find another day to do it because they all go on vacation and things like that. It starts being really funny because they're just improvising Christmas. Also, another thing that I like is that you saw how in episode 1 complete separate plot lines between the families. Like, it's one for this house, one for this house, and one for this house. I think what I like about this episode is like they pair up people that don't usually appear together, like Gloria and Luke, for instance, or Phil and Manny. Some of these are kind of dumb, to be quite honest. Like, Phil wants to get Jay a present and Manny is kind of scared of kidnappers for some reason. And then like Gloria and Luke are just trying to get like an angel, like a decoration piece. And then Claire and Haley go shopping, and Mitch and Alex and Lily go to get a tree. And I don't remember where it was Cam, now that I'm thinking about it. And Jay, I guess. I don't know what they were doing, now that I'm thinking about it. I think the funny part of this is where, again, like, things merge. Mitch and Alex accidentally drop the tree off their car, and then Gloria runs over it accidentally. When they're at Claire's and Phil's, it's like, we cannot do this is impossible, but we're going to just relax, because in the end it's like Mitchell and Claire are kind of freaking out because their mom is not paying attention to them. We're going to go to season 5. Most of this is like one season has a Christmas episode and the next doesn't, which is funny because I think all of them have Halloween episodes. Season 5, it's like, again, they kind of separate, and this episode is kind of also, it's okay, but it's not super good because it's like Jay and Manny try to like cut a tree, what's the word? like get a tree, I don't know what's the word, but like with an axe, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And they can do it, that's just it. Alex and Haley are working in a mall, like they're the Santa Claus assistants, I guess. Like, Haley is an elf and Alex is the Miss Claus. Then Phil wants to, he has an elliptic and he kind of promised himself and I think Claire that he will be on the elliptic the same amount of time, like to achieve the kilometers or like the miles, I guess, there that will take to get to Canada. And so he's really behind, so he's just trying to get it. And then Luke is like trying to get him to do it because he never takes out the trash, and so he stored it in the garage. And then if Phil doesn't achieve his goal, they're gonna put the elliptic in the garage and they're going to find out that Luke is not taking the trash out when he's supposed to. Oh, Gloria's mom is in her house cooking and Gloria's kind of over it, so she calls Claire to like babysit her mom, I guess. And then they bond and Gloria is upset about it. I'm just getting tired because this episode is kind of dumb. I think the only good plotline is that Lily and Cameron are at this charity event, I guess. And so there's a really funny sentence that Cam says because it turns out it's not an event to help kids and help the poor people, but if you're in need, just go there and get something to eat and get a present. And so Cameron said,
I thought it was a charity event for the needy. Turns out it was a charity event for the needy.
That's a funny plot line because it's a real mistake that actually could happen. The rest kind of not, don't really love this episode. Then this is a really good episode. I think 3 and 7 are the best season for the Christmas episodes, I would say. Season 7, they all go to a cabin and like somewhere, I don't know where, which is fun already that they're all together. And again, like, I like when they separate the families and it's not like each household has a plot line, but they kind of mix up together. So one thing is Hailey and Andy, which I love this. I love Hailey and Andy. I love Andy. I also love the actor. I love Pitch Perfect. So, and he has a comedy special on Netflix, The Fact. So Andy is engaged to this girl, but he's hooking up with Hailey. They're kind of trying to not do it anymore and at the same time do it because they want to, but they're trying to hide it from everyone else. I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of funny that they're all in this cabin and they can get a moment for themselves because they also have to be really secretive. And also Gloria ends up inviting Andy's fiance to the cabin, so I think that's kind of funny. Then they do this reference to The Shining, which I think it's also cool because it's kind of like improvised because they start with Luke and Manny telling Lily that this room is always closed because there was a child here, he got trapped, like they trying to scare her, and then he gets what's the word, a tricycle, like this little bicycle for kids. She gets one because she kind of steals it from the toy, like Mitch and Cam tell her you can get one toy or like you can open one of your presents, and she just gets that tricycle that was for Joe. But I think it's cool because then they find out about Hailey and Andy because they hear things from the room, like they go inside to do stuff and they hear things, and because they've been trying to scare Lily all this time, now it's like there's actually something there, and that's why they open the door and they find them. It's like shot in a cool way, like they do this Shining comparison, and then that's how they find out about Hailey and Andy, everyone else. So I think that's really cool. Claire wants to be like, Jay is thinking about retiring his company, the closet company. Claire thinks he's going to make her the boss now, but he says someone else because he wants to make sure that Claire wants to be the boss and not just because he's retiring she's going to be and she's just settling for it. He wants her to actually want to be in charge of the company, but they get upset with one another because Claire is like, he should make me the boss and he just thought about someone else, and then he's like, Claire obviously doesn't want to be the boss. Like, it's just a misunderstanding. I don't love misunderstandings, like when an argument can be fixed with a conversation. I don't usually love this type of thing, and obviously in sitcoms this always happens, so it's like I'm not going to criticize it a lot because that's kind of what they base on, but it's kind of like you can just talk and you can just talk this out. Mitchell and Cameron wants to sing a song because last year they embarrassed themselves, especially Mitchell because he was drunk and they performed really poorly, and so this year they wanted to make it perfect. So there's this lady, I didn't write her name so I don't remember. She's like, every year my family comes to this cabin and this year they didn't tell me where they're going, so they just left me here, and so they let her stay. And Alex realized that she's going to be like that lady because she's really grumpy, like both of them are really grumpy, and she realizes she's going to be like her. Like, she thinks she's smarter than everyone else, and she might be, but that makes her very cynical and kind of, again, like grumpy and not enjoy Christmas. So she's trying to make everyone realize that she's enjoying Christmas and she wants to be there, but everyone thinks she's just being sarcastic, which I relate to. I think I would relate to Alex the most in this show, not this episode, but in this show I think I will be Alex. Let me know in the comments who you think you are, tag yourself in the characters. And that's why they both sing the song, which, by the way, Ariel Winter is her name, like the actress. Her voice is so so pretty. Like she has such a beautiful voice, it's crazy. And then it kind of closes the Mitchell and Cam plotline, like they get their song stolen, but Alex obviously didn't know. We skip season 8 and 9, which is funny because then season 10 and 11 does have a Christmas episode, so that I don't know what that's about. I don't remember anything that I wrote here. One of the plot lines that I wrote was spider. I don't know what spider. Oh, I remember now. Okay. So Phil takes the tree of their house to like an opening, like he shows house, you know what I mean? And so Claire gets upset and sees the tree, and so Phil has to get another one because he doesn't know it was Claire who took the tree, and that's like a whole thing there. Then Dylan and Haley, Haley is pregnant, so they're trying to tell their family, but they're scared about their reaction. So this whole tree thing, because Claire is kind of upset with Phil, and Phil is like overwhelmed with his job and everything. Like Haley and Dylan can find a moment to tell them, so that's kind of funny that in every once in a while they go like, okay, we're just going to tell them, and then it's like the worst time and they just no, this is not the time. That's kind of funny that they just keep coming back and they're never able to actually say what they have to say. I remember the spider now. The spider is that Gloria gets some presents or something like that from Colombia. There was a spider that was supposed to be very poisonous. They have to leave the house, but Jay makes Manny go in to get like a cream for his elbows and something like that. I don't know, this is kind of like random as well. Like Gloria also goes in the house and I don't remember what for, like what she gets. And then Mitch and Cameron has, I think this kid is Cameron's sister's son, and they keep forgetting him everywhere. They just leave and they left him there. I think this episode is good because Haley and Dylan like wanted to tell that they're pregnant, and in the end they finally say it. The other plotlines kind of dumb. Besides Haley being pregnant, everything else is kind of dumb. Like Phil and Claire's is kind of funny. That plotline is kind of funny. The rest of them are just like, okay, I don't care. And then the last one, the last Christmas, we're in season 11, is kind of sad. I like it as an episode. I think it's really good, but it's kind of sad because it ends up, obviously it's the last season and they knew it. Everything is kind of going to the ending direction, you know, like they're trying to be like, okay, this is soon to be over, this show. Phil and Gloria, why did I say Gloria like that? Phil and Gloria are kind of, they're working together, which I didn't remember, by the way. Like rewatching all of this, I was like, because I've watched Modern Family entirely, obviously, and I didn't remember that Gloria ends up working with Phil. So they're kind of like upset with each other, like they're kind of fighting. Then this episode is like everyone is kind of fighting because Claire, like Jay wants to start this business with the dog beds or something like that. Like he wants to start a business about dogs. Claire doesn't want to invest in it, so she's trying to avoid Jay. Then Luke and Manny are upset with each other, especially Manny with Luke. Manny was dating this girl and then Luke started dating her, so now Manny is upset with him. And then the last one is Cameron is trying to make this dinner perfect because everyone is kind of upset with each other, or they're trying to avoid each other. Like they keep changing the name tags in the table that Cam has set up, and then Cam wants to make it perfect because he has a job offer somewhere else and they might leave. And then they all say like Alex might leave too for I don't remember if it wasn't college, it was something else. Like she says I might leave as well. Everyone is talking about leaving, and so that's why it's upsetting, because it's like them, like, you know, the end is coming for the show because everyone is like, I might leave as well. If you leave, I'll leave too. And it's like we're not going to see each other again, the fact. So everyone kind of ends up making up like the fights are solved kind of because everyone just thinks, what if this is our last year and spending Christmas together? And so it's like kind of sad because like, no, the show is over and the families are not going to see each other again, and I'm not going to see them over again. It was a really good episode, I would say. So tier list, my ranking will be, I think the cabin one was the best. I think it was the most enjoyable. I'm biased because I just love Andy and I love Haley and Andy. I do love Dylan as well. well. Like, Dylan is really, really funny, but as a couple, I love Haley and Andy more, if you know what I mean. Then, so season 7 is the coming. I would say season 3 with the Christmas Express. I think that was really cool as well. I think the last one, like season 11, was really, really good. It was just upsetting, but it was really good. Maybe season 1, and then season 10, and then season 5. I think season 5 might be the worst Christmas episode. I'm not sure. All of them are good, by the way. Obviously, it's Modern Family. I love Modern Family. I think all the episodes are good and funny in the end. Let me know which one is your favorite, which character do you relate to the most. I'm curious to know. And of course, please do subscribe because it's free and you can change your mind anytime. Merry Christmas!